St. Patrick's Day after, March 18th, 2026. It's 5:30 PM, and this is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Marquette Township Board. And we're going to start with the pledge. If you'll join us, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thanks. Roll call, please, Randy.
Trustee Winslow.
Present.
Trustee Kidda.
Here.
Trustee Leighton.
Here.
Trustee Everson.
Here.
Treasurer Rickower.
Here.
Clerk Rattari is here, and Supervisor Durant.
Here.
Staff present is Manager Kangas, our Attorney Roger Zappa, our Finance Director Kim Clark, and our Fire Chief Dan Shanahan. And on Zoom, we have our Planner Zoning Administrator Jason McCarthy.
Perfect, thank you. Anybody want to make any public comment before we start?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I got a letter here that I already sent in to your manager, John Kangas, and I copied Ms. Durant, supervisor. I would like to read it, a brief letter, then I had just a couple of comments in regards to that afterwards. So, I'm sorry, forgot. My name is Frank Stabile. My address is 2463 U.S. Highway 41 in West Marquette Township. Also going to kind of read the letterhead here. I'm here representing the Superior Oasis Group. That's the Comfort Suites Hotel, the Days Inn Hotel, My Place Hotel, and Hudson's Classic Grill and Bar. And this is the letter addressed to John Kangas, manager of Marquette Township. Dear John Kangas, I am contacting you today about our water and sewer overcharges for the month of December 2025 compared to December of 2024. Please see attached water usage comparison table provided by the Township Public Works Department. On December 29, 2025 at 1 a.m. our Marquette Board of Light and Power electric power went down at all four of our businesses and did not come back until the 31st of December at about 9 p.m. at night. We were without power for 68 hours. On Monday morning, the 29th, the Board of Light and Power notified us that the power may not be restored for several days or even several weeks. So at that time, we made the decision to run our water in all sinks, tubs, showers, to prolong the possible freezing of our water supply pipes in our buildings, which would cause devastating damage to our hotels and our restaurant. Although there were hundreds of resident homes without power, my home included, our four businesses were the very few businesses without power within the township. Businesses north and west of us did not have electric power outages because they were on a different power transmission leg. Our businesses suffered high financial losses along with several water damaged rooms and equipment failures because of the power surcharges and another line shortage a day after our power was resumed. We're asking the Township Board to forgive the overcharges of $6,184.85 for the period we had no power. Thank you for consideration of our request. Sincerely, Frank T. Stabile, owner. This is obviously in regards to the storm between Christmas and New Year's. I know this wasn't authorized by the township to run our water, but we had to make a hard decision ourselves to do this, and so we did that because our building was getting very cold and we didn't know how long this would be, so we ran the water. We did what we had to do. We had some space heaters. We did everything we could do to try to save our buildings. Also, I want to let you know that I know the question would come up. We did, because there was other problems we had, loss of income and all that, we provided it to our insurance company. And as of this date, the insurance company has denied almost 100% of everything. They have a policy that you have to be 72 hours past the accident or the power outage before they'll pay for anything. So we were at 68 hours. If we had 72 hours, they won't pay in arrears, but they would pay forward. So we're getting little or no reprieve from them, and so I haven't done this before, but I felt we've already had a lot of cost involved in this, and I would just appreciate the township board and their consideration if they could waive this. Now, this was, I do have this here, but I know John has this too, but it was provided by your Public Works Department. I believe Lenny had provided this information. I had talked to him several times in regard to this, and he told me that he did not have the power to waive that, but he did supply the tables here that showed the difference between a typical year in 2024 December compared to this year December, and that's the only thing we have to go by. And that's why it ended up being at that charges. I'll stay around if you have any questions afterwards, or now I can answer those. I appreciate your consideration on this. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Frank. Anybody else for public comment? Any board member comment based on what we heard? Okay. We need approval of tonight's consent agenda, which consists of regular meeting minutes of March 4th, 2026, bills payable in the amount of $131,926.85. We have the February 26th Sheriff's Department activity report and the February financial statements.
Move to accept the consent agenda. Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Just need approval of the remainder unless there are any changes.
That we approve the regular agenda.
Support. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Okay, we're gonna start with Andrea Ingmeyer from the Peter White Public Library giving our annual report.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I'll get it up for you here.
Great. Gonna test out the clicker.
Okay, I think you're good.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for having me in. Every year I get over at least once a year and do a report so that I can let you know a little bit about what happened in the last year at the library and kind of where we're headed in this year. So without further ado. Great. So the mission of the library is to enrich the community through access to library services and cultural opportunities.
Is it moving for you? Down?
Yeah,
No.
I'm hitting it. It's just a little slow.
If not, I can move it for you. Maybe for some reason here. Oh, there we go.
Okay, very good. So our service area is the city of Marquette and 5 surrounding townships. You all are one of those. And with the city of Marquette, we have a 1.5 mil operating bond or a millage and a 0.5 mil approximately bond. With our townships, we have a 1 mil voted millage to support the contract. And it's voted on every 2 to 4 years.
Working.
Yeah, it's just not. Next.
Next. All right.
So I know it's on the agenda later. We are up for a millage renewal again with Marquette Township, should you all choose to put it on the ballot. And this is just a little overview of the history. It's a lot of bars. You all are the red bar up there, and that's just showing the voter approval rates for library millages over history. Next. So the library does have a governing board that is appointed by the mayor of the city of Marquette, and then we also have our township advisory council, and that includes 2 members of each of our townships that we have contracts with, and your 2 members are Paul Marin and now Grace Simula, who just started.
Try your clicker now. It might
Try it
work.
again?
No. There it goes.
Ah, perfect. So we do have a strategic plan that guides the services that we offer at the library, and those the 3 pillars of our strategic plan are service, sustainability, and expertise. So service, ensuring that our library services meet the needs of our community. That's our main goal there. Books continue to be a large part of what we do. Obviously, we're still very excited about books. And the top authors from this last year and the top titles that were checked out from our library are listed here. We did a Spotify-like wrap at the end of the year with our statistics. People thought it was quite fun to see what the most checked out items from our collection were. So this is the book slide from that display. This is our overall collection count at the library. We do have a print collection, we have an audio collection, a video collection, and things in art. So you can see I've put a little chart to the right for some of those smaller numbers so you can see the detail there. You will notice that our collection overall has gone down a little bit over the last several years, and that's due to some pretty aggressive weeding that we've been doing at the library. Librarians have a tendency to save everything, and that's wonderful, except when the shelves are so full, you can't find what you're looking for or remove or replace items that come in and out. So we've been working really hard to get the collection downsized a little bit. Part of our goal there is to make the collection a little more accessible. When items are on the floor or really high on the top of the shelf, it's very difficult for our elderly patrons and anyone who has an accessibility issue. So we are trying to get our items more centrally located so that they're easier for folks to access. Just some fun pictures to look at your leisure. Circulation stats, we were going up this last year. It looks like our circulation of print materials, our physical items, did go down a little bit. And I think it's just a trend we're seeing overall. It's up and down. You'll notice that it did go up in 2023 and then down a little bit and then down a little bit. So we'll see what happens in 2026. Statistics are fun. You never know what you're going to find. This is a listing of our digital resources that we have at the library, and I will talk a little bit more about those bottom three, Libby, Hoopla, and Canopy. Those are our most highly used digital resources. We have those items, Libby, Hoopla, and Canopy are the digital resources that we provide that most mimic the library's physical collection. So those are e-audio books, e-books, and streaming video and music. And by the different type of material, it's listed which service provides that and the statistics associated with it. So it's a lot of information on that slide, but the main takeaways here are e-audio books are incredibly popular with our patrons in a streaming format. Hoopla and Libby are the two primary providers for that. So those are the most highly utilized resource that we have in digital checkouts. This is a look at our streaming platform usage over time. Going back to January of 2023, you'll notice that that blue bar in the middle is Hoopla, and it has grown over time. And this is a look at Hoopla usage in that same general time, actually going back to the beginning of Hoopla. We are seeing an incredible increase in Hoopla usage. And starting March 1st, we did put a budget cap on our Hoopla. Hoopla does allow for libraries to put a daily budget limit on usage because Hoopla charges libraries per checkout. So each patron is limited to 4 checkouts, but then if every single person who had a library card used their 4 checkouts, that would be a big bill for the library. And we're just seeing that our monthly bill increase. And so we did have to implement a daily budget for Hoopla use that just caps the amount that we are billed every day by Hoopla. It's a different type of lending model. We sent out some PR about the budget cap, letting folks who use the service know that this was coming, and one of them said, I had no idea that libraries were charged like this, because it is quite different than what we experience as a consumer. You know, when you sign up for Netflix, you're paying your $15 a month and you know what you're getting and you can use it an unlimited amount of times, and it's just not like that for digital formats for libraries. Hoopla's methodology for how they do their pricing is to charge per checkout. Libby charges about twice what a print book would cost to purchase it through Libby, and oftentimes there'll be like a certain number of checkouts that can be used for that item or for a certain time period. So these companies are just trying to figure out how to make money. So we're trying to figure out how to afford them all, because they are popular. Here's some more photos of events that took place at the library this year. our program attendance continues to climb. Programming is a huge part of what we do at the library, and our youth programming in particular, the attendance at programs really jumped this year. We are trying very hard to not duplicate programming that's happening in other parts of our community. We have a lot of great community partners who are doing programming, and we don't want to overlap that. So we're really trying to target on what makes sense for the library to offer. And this last year, I think we demonstrated that that's a really effective use of our time, just really trying to focus in on what folks come to the library for. Summer reading was a big success again this year. We had over 800 youth under 14 sign up for summer reading, and over 600 of them completed. The number that I always like to talk about is the 1,986 books that we distributed as part of summer reading. So those are books that children got to keep and take home and make a part of their home libraries. And so that's always the statistic that I like to talk about. We also have a teen program and an adult program. They're run a little bit differently than the youth program, but both have been very popular with our patrons as well. Pictures. And then this last year we worked with Feeding America on the Gather to Grow program, and we distributed meals at the library 2 days a week over the course of the summer. We distributed 1,756 meals from the library, and it was just a grab and go program. It was wonderful. We had so many parents who would come in with their children on the days that we were offering this program and say, thank you. Summer's just so hectic. It's so nice to know we've got lunch covered. So it was really successful, and we're planning to do it again this summer. Our computer use remains stable. For leading up to COVID, we had noticed that our computer use had been tapering off, and post-COVID, it's building back up again. I think as computers continue to get more complicated, money continues to get tighter for our community, we're seeing people not maintain computers or internet services at home, and they're using ours instead. So we are seeing those numbers increase a little bit over time. Our room use is also increasing kind of at an astonishing rate. So room reservations, in this last year we had over 1,000 room reservations, and then the drop-in use is it's kind of an honor system when folks come in and use the rooms. If they don't have a reservation, they just write down that they use the room. So that number is a little less reliable, because like I said, we're just relying on folks to write down that they use the room. But if you've been in the library, especially on a Wednesday, it seems Wednesday is the hot day right now. It's packed all day long. Especially since we're missing quite a few parking spots right now because it's filled with snow. But the library rooms are very busy. We have 7 bookable spaces right now. 4 of them are spaces that our staff set up tables and chairs for each event. 3 of them are small rooms that come as kind of a static space, and they have the tables and chairs already set up. And then we have 3 study rooms that are checked out on a library card, and those are not reservable. We continue to expand our website content, putting recorded programming on our YouTube page, our YouTube channel, but also linking it to our website so that folks can attend programming if they're not able to get into the library, or watch it later, assuming that we're not breaking any copyright restrictions, then they can watch it later. Another project that I am really excited about is our digitization. We continue to work with NMU's Uplink program. Right now we have Cloverland magazine, the Mining Journal, and Polk directories digitized and available for use by anyone at the Uplink site. And we did just recently buy a scanner. Actually, the Friends of the Library bought us a scanner to be able to do our next digitization project, which is digitizing all of the Marquette monthlies. And we will be doing that work ourselves. The other items that we had digitized, we had microfilm rolls, and we sent them off to a digitizer to do the scanning and the OCR, which is the optical character recognition that makes them searchable. But with the Marquette Monthly, we'll be doing all of that on our own. So it's going to take us a lot longer to get through them all, but we're really excited about this content because it is so locally important. So arts and culture, as you probably remember, they did not renew their lease with the library, and so they did move out at the end of September of 2025. We have absorbed all that space and are managing the whole building at this point. So the Dio Gallery is stayed just as it was, a fine art gallery. And we've been running that gallery for the last couple of years in partnership with Arts and Culture, leading up to knowing that they weren't going to renew their lease. So we're very comfortable taking over that space. Studio 1 is just a bookable room, like all the other rooms that we reserve. And then Studio 2 is a work in progress. Right now we're using it for special programs. We are the early voting location for the city of Marquette, so the room is used for that. It's also used for book sales, and we've got a couple other ideas of how we want to utilize that space on a more ongoing basis, but it will not be a publicly bookable space. We don't have the capacity to add another room. Our teen zone, we just had a mural installed at the end of December, again funded by our friends of the library. It's very bright and made the space nice and vibrant. And we are seeing a lot of teens come to the library after school and use it between their events or while they're waiting for pickup. So the teen zone has been very loud at times, quite frankly. But it's good to see all the kids in the building, and we're happy to provide the space for them. In terms of sustainability, we're talking about both environmentally and financially. Here are some of the grounds updates that we did this last year, updating our benches that are out in the gardens in front. We had pea gravel in the parking lot between the walkway and the parking spots, and we replaced all that pea gravel that was really difficult to work with in the winter when you're trying to snow blow. We just paved that over, and then just repairing some of the sidewalks around the building that had gotten kind of dangerous over the years with wear and tear. This is a look at our expenses over the last 5 years and a dialed in version of this last year. You can see that wages and benefits continue to be our largest expense. I'm sure it's the same for the township. Revenues 5-year trend, same thing, and a dialed in version of that. And just so you know, this presentation is on our website. If you want to go back and see the slides and take a little more time with some of these, they are on our website on the annual report page. Our endowment funds value has grown significantly over the last couple years. We've had several large donors leave endowments to the library, and that puts us in a really wonderful position of stability in years like this where we had hoopla expenses increasing. We were able to use some of our technology endowment fund to offset that unforeseen expense. So it's really great to have that as a additional stability for the library's finances. Expertise, maintaining a qualified, well-trained staff focused on providing excellent customer service. And our friends of the library are a big part of what we do. Our friends are at the library every single day. And this last fiscal year, they raised over $75,000, and you'll see in the trends of expenses, the programming expenditure line has increased over time, and that's in it's almost completely the work of the friends. So they raise money. We actually apply for grants from our friends group, and they go through our list of requests when they have their meetings and approve what they want to fund. So it keeps us all accountable to what we're doing. We have several other partner organizations that we work with. We have master gardeners who do the bulk of the grounds gardening out front in the beautiful flower beds that we have. The Sister Cities group maintains their collection at the library, and the Queen City Seed Library. And it's coming up for planting time. So the seed library has been getting already a little bit of attention as folks are starting to think about seeing green outside. We do quite a bit of partner programming as well. So this is programming that allows us to do a little bit more without taxing our staff to do all of it. So the Repair Cafe is a partner program where we have volunteers who come in and actually work with people to repair items that they have. We work with Fresh Coast Film Festival to be a film location site. And then we've worked for the last couple of years with Meditate Marquette, offering contemplative and meditative practices at the library. And then, of course, our wonderful staff. We have just under 40 staff members, and they are the reason that all the magic happens. Without these folks, we really would not be able to have the library that we have. And I'm sure I've talked to a lot of different governmental entities, and this story is not unique to us. We've had a real flip in the last 7 years or so, with loss of longevity and loss of expertise. So we have a lot of really young staff, a lot of really new staff, and we have really a lot fewer staff that have 10 or more years of service. And that shows up in a variety of ways, but that loss of expertise and institutional knowledge is really hard to replace when you're training somebody new. And it takes 5 or more years for them to really feel like they understand what's happening at the library and can adequately answer questions. And there's a lot of weird things that come up, and once you've been there long enough, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that, that has happened before. But when you haven't been there very long, you don't have that memory. So that's been a real shift for us over the last decade. So coming up, we're working on strategic plan goals right now. We're thinking about our facility, we're thinking about our staff, and just maintaining the quality of service that we offer to the community. That's all I have. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone might have.
I have a couple, Andrea.
Sure.
Did your budget cover the meals for the kids?
That is actually free to us. That is
Okay,
all, yep.
we're just the go between.
Yep, that's a
Good.
Feeding America program.
Okay.
Mhm.
And did you lose revenue because the arts department or center left?
We did, yeah. Their lease with the library was around $30,000 a year. So that has been kind of a growing pain for the groups who were used to using Studio One without cost. There were several organizations who were really upset at first that they had to pay for the space. But they're like, well, arts and culture was subsidizing that for you with their lease. And now they're not here, so we're doing all the work. But I think we're at the point now where all the groups who use that space understand why there's a fee associated. But yes, there was a reduction in revenue.
Okay,
Yep.
great report. Any questions for Andrea? Okay, thank you so much for
You're
coming.
welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, we don't have
No library
library
report
report
next month.
for 2 reasons. Partly because Andrea's here and partly because their meeting was canceled, so our TAC rep will come next month. But we do have a fire department report.
And the written report was at each person's spot, Dan, so don't worry about that.
Thank you. Yeah, we got a little busy last week and short staffed, and all of a sudden, that's the time. So I guess yesterday morning I threw it in everybody's box. Not a whole lot to report. I do apologize for not getting it in the packet. Like I said, we were a little short and busy. Just to give you a quick synopsis of the training, because sometimes, I don't know, we think it's pretty cool. Marquette City Fire is going to come in this month, and we're going to go over some search and rescue, and the RIC, it's a rapid intervention crew. And then next month, I don't know if anybody was aware, but we did have was it 2 Sundays, the day of the Builders Show was a Sunday, so 2 Sundays ago. We were an alternate site for the helicopter landing for the hospital. When the hospital moved, they have their own pad now, and then the backup is the Berry. Well, the Berry was full of the Builders Show. So we haven't done it in 10 years. We have all this equipment and everything, but they called us and they said they're 5 minutes out. And we're all home. You know, so.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Exactly, it was 6. When we got the page, they said they're 6 minutes out. And we have a few guys that live pretty close, and got it set up and it went real well. But they happened to be, because of the traffic going on that day, they happened to be a helicopter from Minnesota. So we couldn't communicate with them. So, I mean, everything worked out fine. You know, we got the beacons, and the pilot did do a circle, and could see our beacons in the parking lot in the front of the fire hall there. And everything was good, but it is nice to communicate too. And so that's our training in April. Helicopter landings and radios, and they will now, we'll have a radio to communicate with them, which we couldn't before. We're just going. Speaking of those types of things, we were pretty fortunate not to have many calls over the last few days, which worked out well for us. I will tell you that the Westwood Mall has kept us a little busy with meetings and such. We met with county building officials and the mall's engineers. And I will state too, when I'm going to piggyback on Supervisor Durant's text message the other day, yeah, please make sure you do clean out your furnace. That's been a lot of the calls. The furnace exhaust and intake pipes, more so on the high efficiency. That has not so much in our neck of the woods, but in other communities, that's been a lot of the calls. And yeah, when you get out there, we had a couple, and they're the 8-foot drifts, and their pipes are 5 feet high, and they're plugged. Now to get to them, that's what I was thinking when you put that text.
Yeah.
How did you get to it?
It was an
We
ordeal.
went through one resident's home, we went through the bedroom window to get to it, and then shoveled it out for him. But, yeah, good point to bring it up, so yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to let everybody know.
Yeah,
And then your husband steps into the wheel well in the basement, gets stuck, and the snow is coming in over him. He's yelling, "Help! Help!"
right?
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah. I think it brought up last meeting, the ladder truck is in for repairs currently.
Good.
Hoping to get it back in 2 weeks. We have met with Pierce Rep recently, again, and a few of the guys will be headed down to Appleton to get a look at a very similar truck, pretty much the same truck that we're specking out. We've also been in touch with Sutphin and a few other vendors, but we have a quote from them also. The Pigs and Heat game is this Friday, if anybody's not aware. We do still have tickets. And I don't have anything else unless anybody's got any questions on anything.
What happened to Wednesday?
They changed that, yeah, I know, first year we're usually racing out of here. Yeah, I can't remember why the reason is for that. I don't know if it was a scheduling thing, if there's something in Lakeview tonight, but they knew quite a bit in advance that it was gonna be Friday this year. But yeah, it's been what, for how many years?
40 years, yeah.
Okay, 40, yeah, that it's always been on Wednesday. But no, it's Friday this year,
Okay.
6:30. 6 o'clock.
Any questions for Dan? John?
Dan, do you happen to have a copy of the repair estimate with you?
Not with me.
I forgot to put it on the agenda. That's my bad.
Me too.
You all are aware of it. I sent you a communication last week looking for pre-authorization to proceed with the repairs on that ladder truck engine. We did get enough support to move forward without me sticking my neck out on my own. So I appreciate that, but I do think we need to pass a motion approving those emergency repairs in the amount of,
I thought it was around 23 or
Yeah, I was gonna say 22,
$24,000,
yeah.
somewhere in there.
Gotta be in our email.
I
Yeah.
completely forgot to put that in the packet. I apologize.
And we didn't catch it either.
I know,
Well-
yeah.
Well, Friday was kind of
It
busy, so.
was.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
I'll see if I can find it.
Not to exceed. And
I thought it was
the high
20.
end was 25.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere in there.
So I
Hoping
can,
for 15.
so I can make that motion to pay that bill not to exceed 26,000. That should cover it.
Thank you.
I'll support that. Because we knew about it, we just bombed it. But yeah, we can make a motion at this part, so that's fine.
And I'll make sure that a copy of that is available for the packet.
It looks like 29,329.67.
Okay, well, 35.
1,200.
Interstate Power Systems, is it the right
Correct.
one?
I
Okay.
believe some of that was for them to diagnose, which has been, I think it's in the system, if you will,
Don't know that it's been paid yet.
$287.
No, it'd been like 12, 13, 12, say 13.
So labor,
You'll
too?
amend your
So
motion.
I'll amend my motion not to exceed $30,000. Or
I'll-
31?
Do you want to look at it?
Yeah, they
That's
came,
fine,
they
that's
came,
fine.
Dan, you don't need authorization for the initial assessment
Is that- I
cost.
can't remember
That's
if that was-
within your,
I do remember the 29 at least.
Okay, so,
the initial estimate, or actually invoice, was within your purchasing capacity, and we discussed that.
Right.
This invoice exceeds either of our capacities, so we needed board authorization.
So
And it's
30
the 29,329.67.
so 30,000 should
I'm sorry.
cover it.
Yeah. And we're hoping for the 15. You know, I just want to throw that, you know, that's a lot of money, but that's a worst case scenario, because I think is what he put in the description of the invoice.
If you don't do the repair, the truck is useless.
Right.
And then who wants to buy it too, when it's time to replace it?
Well, it's not only the truck is useless, we don't
We
have
don't.
that in our fleet of
Yep.
vehicles, and we support more than just Marquette Township with all of our stuff, so it's a community thing.
Yes, they did, yep. Totally, yep. Yes, it does.
And I will support that amendment, so it'll be for 30, not to exceed 30,000.
Yeah, I apologize, yeah.
Okay, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, board, for accommodating that brain cramp of mine.
And just my comment on that, we usually don't add stuff like this, but this is a true emergency expenditure, so we have to have done this, so. It would have been on the agenda tonight, like I said, Friday was busy with the storm and such, so. Kind of fell through the crack, that's fine. Preparation, storm preparation.
I hate St. Patrick. I want to go on record.
Take the day off the calendar, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it won't happen, right? Okay, yeah, that worked out good. Public Works, do we have?
No.
We don't.
Lenny.
Okay.
Lenny is recuperating from the storm, and I think he'll be back tomorrow. But since he's not available, I just want to say real quickly, thank you to Buildings and Grounds and Public Works crews that cleaned up all of our facilities from the storm.
Ditto. Okay, Planning Department, we have Jason, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. Sorry for my voice. I am under the weather and keep it as brief as possible for you. Our main focus obviously has been the master plan, which is on the agenda later tonight for authorization by the township board to release that for its required 63-day review period. So essentially, the planning commission has completed a draft of the master plan, which is essentially our land use guide for the next 5 years, and it's required to be updated every 5 years. And if you recall, we received a grant from MISTA, Michigan State Housing Development Authority, to provide us funds to hire a consultant to help us with that. So SEH has been working with us now for just over a year, and we're at a point now where we're comfortable with the draft, and we'd like the board to support releasing that for its review period. So you're not looking at adopting it tonight, you're simply looking at releasing it for review, your review, our neighboring communities, railroads, utilities, etc. Along with that, obviously the Westwood Mall has been put on our plate as well a little bit with inquiries about the property, potential sale. I shouldn't say the potential sales, but there's been inquiries by other entities interested in acquiring that. And as well, some calls from some of the business owners who, you know, we have a real soft spot for what's happened there. And so trying to connect them with developers and or other possibilities to relocate their stores elsewhere. So if you know any developers that can put up a small retail or, you know, any kind of strip mall type development or something like that, I'm sure the community would be would be open to that, where and when zoning is feasible. So that's been a challenge. But we're putting people together and trying to connect the dots from the owner to interested parties, and kind of working behind the scenes on that. Our recreation plan is due to be updated this year. So we'll be we will be updating that throughout the course of the summer, and hopefully get that done, wrapped up sometime in early fall, so that if there is a project that rises to the top for consideration with regard to grant funding, we get that on file with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources to be eligible for their loan programs, which we've utilized before to a great extent, actually. Looking forward to and planning for the Joint Planning Commission and Township Board meeting, which is next Wednesday at 4:30. I would assume in the boardroom, or it could be in the community room. Either way, excited for that, and I know that we've extended that invitation to the. Excuse me. Extended that invitation to the Recreation Committee as well, and that was a nice touch by Supervisor Durant to do that. Planner Powers continues to administer business licenses, of course, and we've been getting, the daily calls on accessory structures and additions for the year, so that stuff is ramping up, of course. Maybe it'll slow down a little bit with this historic storm we've had. And then, of course, we're looking at, once the master plan is updated, likely in early May, mid-May, which is our target anyway, we'd like to start working on zoning ordinance updates, a combination of updates that would align the master plan to the zoning ordinance and vice versa, but also some things that we've noticed over the last several years that could be adjusted to also positively affect affordable or attainable housing. We feel that we can do a pretty good job of that in-house with some zoning adjustments, provided they're supported by the community. And then I guess lastly, we're also waiting to hear an update on, I believe what was a budgeted LTE position to assist both planning and zoning and assessing with some property maintenance and or field work. So I know that there's been some discussions about that, and that idea obviously slows down a little bit with the big snow, but as the snow starts to melt and some of those properties that need some property maintenance, when those come to be and they are making themselves shown again, we'd like to have that position there to support us. So yeah, I know that Manager Kangas is working on that along with the department heads, and hopefully we'll get that sorted out. But that's essentially an update from Northwoods Road in Marquette Township. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
The meeting will be in this room, Jason, next Wednesday, because I got election training in the community room at 4 to 6. So.
Yeah, busy time of the year.
Yep.
And we've got the electronics in here too, so that makes it easier. I'd
Yep.
like to maybe try to set up like a rectangle or something, so we're a little closer. We'll see what we can come up with. We did that once before. Any questions for Jace? Okay, thanks. Are you gonna stick around for the master, or go get?
Will,
some-
yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
get some back.
Okay, good. Mr. Roger, you're next.
This past month was a little bit lighter on my desk than some. Recently, I did review the AHP audit engagement letter and reviewed the water and sewer ordinance language from 1991 regarding the scope of adjustments that this board even has authority to make if it wanted to. And I issued a short opinion on that. We had a question on retention of personnel records, and a question on an interesting issue on recreation committee membership composition, which may or may not result in a amendment to the bylaws for the Recreation Committee, depending on how that all unfolds. I did take a quick look at the library contract to make sure that I was remembering correctly that there can be an automatic renewal essentially if there's a consensus by all parties for an additional 2-year term, because time kind of flies. And we are in that mid-range where there can be a 2-year renewal of the existing contract. That would still require the millage to be placed on the proposal because you had a 2-year millage. And that, of course, will require a determination on what ballot that will be on. And we've had some ongoing communications with the resident at 760 Lake Enchantment Road, still relating to the cleanup that was performed near the, late fall of last year. Nothing really significant to report on that, but it's ongoing. And I'm probably overlooking something or another, but those are some of the issues that came to mind when I was jotting some notes down.
Questions for Roger? Okay, thank you, sir. Community linkage is next. I have a few meetings I can share with you. You've probably already heard that Commissioner Adamini resigned as of March 6th, so that seat will be open, and Randy can go through the specifics of the dates and if anybody else wants to, how that process unfolds to fill that seat. And the county also rescheduled not only their meeting from last night, but the work session that they were going to hold about the ARPA funds, the $5 million that I was telling you about. So that's going to be next Tuesday also, so I'll make sure I go to both of those and get back to you on that. We had 24 folks at the Board of Review over the 2-day period. Actually, they were mostly the first day. And a lot of just cleanup and questions and filling out forms and signing the second day. So that wasn't too bad. We have a Materials Management Committee meeting tomorrow. It'll be Zoom, thankfully, for Escanaba. And we'll be starting the first 20 pages of that draft agreement that will eventually come back to you and the county to approve, or at least to look at, and then it'll go to the county for approval. That should be this summer, like maybe June 1st or so. It has to be, no, July 1st. It has to be approved by June of next year, June 1st. John and I went to the Road Commission Township Relations meeting, which is supervisors that meet quarterly, and he can fill you in on that. It was mostly the roads, and that's part of our discussion later. And we had, or they had, the solid waste meeting at 4 o'clock today, which was just ridiculous. I'm not even going to tell you. It's just too ridiculous. I could only hear half of it anyway. And then I have 2 housing meetings tomorrow. And one of the questions that came up, I think, at the last meeting when Mitch was here was, when do did the TIF funds kick in on that project? I'm struggling to call it Schwemmwood Park. It's not Schwemmwood. It's Mitch's project.
Heritage
for
Trails.
Heritage Trails. Thank you. So I did check with the assessor. If, let's say, for instance, they start the project July 1st, and work and do infrastructure and maybe put some foundations, maybe do some electrical or whatever the condition of the site is on December 31st of this year, it will be taxed. And that, we get the tax on the 500,000, that regular part, and then the TIF kicks in as soon as the end of the year based on what's happening with the property. So in other words, if they don't do anything at all this year to develop the property, let's say, the 2 extremes, they don't do anything, we get the tax, the regular tax on the 500,000, like a regular property owner.
That would be the taxable value of the undeveloped property.
Correct. Then if they, whatever they do, maybe they just pour a foundation that's improved, whatever that value is at the end of the year, that part kicks in the TIF. So it would be starting like right away. Because some of the questions were, do we have to have, the first phase done, the first 24 units before that TIF money starts paying off the debt? And that's not the case. It's whatever happens on December 31st, which is pretty much the case of all property owners. If you're building a home and it's like a third done at the end of the year, that's what you pay the tax on, just a third of it. And then if it's not completed the next year, you pay it whatever that is completed, 2/3 or whatever. So if it takes you 3 years to build your home, you don't pay the total amount until it's done, based on December 31st of the end of the year. Clear as mud? Roger?
One minor clarification on that also is under state law, property taxes have to be assessed at 50% of true market value. So the fair market value, the purchase price was $500,000, but for purposes of the TIF or anything else, the assessed value is $250,000 on that.
Thanks for that
So that's
clarification.
what the base tax would be.
Thanks. Anything else? Are you hearing anything? Tired shoulders from shoveling?
So I'll cover, Lynn, the vacancy
Good.
for the county
Yes.
commission. Commissioner Adamini resigned March 6th. And then, so that started the time clock for the county board, because they have a 30-day window they have to appoint someone. So the last I heard was they were going to schedule a special meeting for the 30th of March, and that's where they would appoint whoever has applied. And if you would like to apply, you go to the county website under the clerk, or the county board of commissioners, and then there's a link there for the application and such that you need to fill out to go there, to be appointed, if they so choose you. That position will have to run in a primary and the November election, because it's before the date of the cutoff of the primary. So whoever gets appointed will have to run this fall for that position, for the end of the 2-year terms, because county commissioner terms are 4 years now. If this vacancy would have happened, say, after the middle of April, then you would not have to do that. You would just be on the term till the 28th. But because of the timing, you have to run. So if you're interested, you can call the county clerk's office, and they will direct you in what you need to do. In District 3 is all Marquette Township, and Precinct 1 in the city. So that's like the south half of the city. Kind of like where the golf course is, and kind of swings down by that lower part of the city. I did look on the map, I don't have it handy, but it's just a slice of the city, but it's all Marquette Township in one precinct of the city. So that's what entails District 3.
Thanks for that. Okay, let's get into the meat of this. Consider the renewal of the library contract for 2026 through 28.
Okay, I will take this because I'm the one that got it on there. So, every 2 years with the existing contract, as Roger stated, we have either the option of continuing or not continuing on. And that's what the contract says. And if you do approve it, we will put the millage language on either August or November. It's our choice what we'd like to do with that. And I'm recommending that we extend the current library agreement for an additional term of 2 years until December 31st of 2028, and put the millage on the ballot for whatever the board chooses election. So there's 2 questions I need to know. Does the board want to continue the existing contract? There's absolutely, other than just, I'd like a motion of renewing it, but we really don't have to renew it. We don't have to do anything. It'll actually renew. And then the second question is if that is approved, what election would you want the millage question on? Because those are the two things that I need to know.
Do you want two motions?
I don't need two motions. I just need to know, with the motion I have here, you can place the election on there. So you can just do it in one motion. So I would make the motion to accept the library agreement for additional 2 years until December of 31st, 2028, and put the millage on the ballot for the November election.
Support.
November 2025,
6.
26.
Yeah. So it will be,
Okay.
so if the board approves it, the millage question would be in this November.
And we have support. Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
All right, Andrea, I'll get millage language put together and I'll get it submitted to the county, so it will be on the November ballot.
Thank you much.
Okay, consider distribution approval for the master plan update, draft master plan update. And I have provided one document because it is a couple hundred pages plus.
And actually, Jason, the draft of the master plan is on our website too, so it's there.
Yes, thank you. So as I enter my 15th year with Marquette Township, I'm really proud to present this plan in particular because it's the latest iteration of Marquette Township from a demographic standpoint, from community facilities, transportation, utilities, natural resources, housing, economic development, land use, goals and implementation, and then a new chapter this year, future considerations. So I know the planning commission's worked really hard on this, and staff and planner Powers as well. I'd like to give him a lot of credit. And our consultant has put together through a lot of public input. It's a longer document than we've had before. I've kind of made a habit of paring it down. Just meat and potatoes, but this one has more side dishes and bread with it, and that's a good thing. So it's a more robust plan, but really at its core, it's a land use plan. And I've always felt that we have been very well zoned, and now what you're seeing is there's just a lot of innovation with different types of land uses and what people are doing with their properties, both residentially and commercially. So it's an attempt to stay on top of those issues and opportunities. So at its base, master plan is really a planning commission document by state statute. The planning commission adopts the plan after a public hearing and a lot of public input, and that's all detailed in the community survey results in the appendix of the document. And then the board, they can pass a resolution of concurrence to support it, if you recall, for those board members who have been on for one of these cycles before. But essentially what we're asking tonight is to allow the distribution of this to the our review list, which is our neighboring municipalities, our railroads and utilities, so that they have an opportunity to provide comment on it. So while it's in final draft form, it's not adopted, and it won't be until after a public hearing, which would occur after this time. So there's plenty of time still yet for updates. And but I think the gist of the document is done, and any last minute comments or things that need to be revisited can be during this period. So it's really a formality. It's required by state statute, and that's what staff is requesting tonight. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, Carl?
I make the motion that we release the master plan for review draft.
I'll support that. The resolution number will be 03-18-2026-1. And I'll support that.
Okay. Questions, comments? It was quite a document. You can be very proud of it, Jason. I mean, I know you had a lot of help, but it's just amazing. There's a lot of
Well,
information.
the planner's world is a small world. And prior to coming to Marquette Township and coming home, if you will, I worked in Ashland, Wisconsin. My boss there, her name was Bria Grace. And obviously, you know, people move on with their careers, and I moved, thankfully, to Marquette and to Marquette Township, and Bria chose to, as she had a family, starting to have a family, chose to go to the private sector. So Bria is actually the planner that has been consulting with us throughout this process, and I'm super proud of that connection and of her work and the professional relationship that we have together, and was really pleased with the document so far and looking forward to getting more pictures and other things embedded in the document prior to its adoption to make it a complete. But the text is there, the maps are there, and everything's there. So we appreciate the board's support, and we'll make sure we take care of the administrative side on our end.
And I did suggest to the groups that will meet that we kind of focus on the goals and objectives. Is that okay with you? I mean, it's too huge to go over in an hour, you know, for both of our groups, but at least we can kind of get the gist. Not that I don't want everybody to read it at some point. I wouldn't want to discourage that, but we can make good use of our time if they go through that. Does that work for you?
Yes, I can distribute that ahead of our meeting next week.
Okay, sounds good. Anything else for Jason? Okay, thank you much.
It's a roll call
Thank you.
vote.
Good night, guys.
Yep, good night.
Trustee Kidda.
Yes.
Clerk Rattari is yes. Trustee Winslow.
Yes.
Trustee Everson.
Yes.
Trustee Leighton.
Yes.
Treasurer Rickauer.
Yes.
And Supervisor Durant.
Yes,
Motion carries 7-0.
okay, thanks for that.
So you can distribute that, Jason, the board concurrence. I'll get that resolution to you sometime by the end of the week.
Tomorrow would be
All
great.
right, well, tomorrow sometime during the day.
Sounds good. Thanks, Clerk Rattari. Good night.
Night. Okay, consider 2% funding request from United Way of Marquette to Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians. Get back down there. I did put together relatively the same letter that Treasurer Rickauer was requesting at our last meeting for another entity. And it's for your consideration. Do you want to talk about it, your reasons, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's really, like you said, same as the last one, that's just a different tribe that also has qualifying funds for the area, and it just, what we're using it for or going for is just to cover basic needs for our community, food, shelter, and just some basic needs for the community. I think we got it.
I'll make a motion to approve the letter and authorize the supervisor to sign and send it.
Support.
Okay, questions for Andrew? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Consider the purchase of our vehicle for the sheriff's department. Andrew Kangas.
It's that time. Every 3 years, we purchase a new vehicle for the sheriff's department to perform their supplemental patrols of the township. That's that 80 hours a week that we contract with them for. If anyone's been paying attention, you'll see that the cost of these vehicles is not going down and probably never will in our lifetimes. So unfortunately, it's more expensive than we'd really like it to be, but in order to stay on schedule, and we did have it budgeted for this year, we're recommending authorization of this purchase, and then allow staff to release payment. We do have an invoice on it that matches the bid amount, and I believe the check has been cut. It's just waiting approval to release it.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay. And I guess our plan is to keep the vehicles?
Yes.
We're gonna keep the Charger and we're gonna
Going
keep
back to
new
the
Tahoe?
LTE position that Jason referenced a few moments ago, I think if we're going to consider hiring a field tech like that, we will probably need a second vehicle, yes. Is it that much of a added cost? Well, there's some maintenance, there's some insurance, but generally speaking, I think our annual budget operating costs will be able to accommodate that, and if one of the vehicles becomes a money pit, we get rid of it. At some point, it might make sense to have a second vehicle, whether or not it came from the sheriff's department. And really what happens on these, they handle the procurement side, now we handle the payment side. It gets titled to them. At the end of the 3 years, the title transfers to us. They take the equipment off, reuse as much of it as they can on the new one, purchase new equipment if they can't reuse old, or if it's aged out. This year we have to get a new modem and antenna, which is a little bit added cost, but needs to happen for communication reasons. So there will be a budget amendment necessary, I'm thinking, based on what we're hearing. The dashboards change on these things, which changes the equipment they have to use to install everything, the brackets, you name it. The center console that they install the majority of their equipment in now, it's pretty state-of-the-art as opposed to what you used to see, where I don't know how these officers even moved when they were driving in those spaces. But so the one they have currently will be titled to us when the new one is ready to be put into rotation.
Sounds good. Question, Dan?
On the specs and stuff, what color are you?
White.
White?
And the decal is going to be more gray this time than last time, so it looks a little bit more thought through. It's not that what we decided on wasn't good. I think it's going to even look better, and I hope nobody's offended if there isn't an orange stripe in that decal. I think it's going to look sharp. Gray with black accenting.
Okay.
He was telling me all this the other day when we were driving up to the road commission, and I said, well, it'll be okay if we've got the orange stripe. He goes, there's no orange stripe. Okay.
Unless there's some serious heartburn about that orange stripe, I really think all gray, where it clearly states Marquette Township on the back end of that decal, it'll be just behind the rear wheel well. It's going to look good. It's all reflectorized, so it'll stand out when lights shine on the side of the vehicle at night. I think you'll be pleased with it. I can only go based off of renderings, but if I can envision what we started 3 years ago to what will look more like finishing the job, I think it'll look good. I'm sticking my neck out on that one.
Yes.
I'll be watching.
Uh-huh. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Okay, building fund investment. John?
Yeah. Back in early January, the township came upon $500,000 of new revenue through the sale of excess property, the 5-acre parcel that was sold to Renovare Marquette Homes LLC, I think is their official business name. That's the organization that Mitch Nordahl and Wildflower Development is a part of. Prior boards had intended that when that parcel sold, the revenue would pay down debt on this facility. You can do that, but there's no financial benefit to doing so. And that's because we recently refinanced all 3 of our building mortgages into one bond sale. The amortization schedule is set. If you make early payments, all you're doing is picking which payments you're paying early. You still pay all the interest and principal. So not much of a benefit you can actually gain by just putting it in the bank, whether it's in a money market, investing it in CDs, Mr. Treasurer. My recommendation is that, to take that $500,000, earmark it for future building maintenance costs. We've got a roof that's gonna be coming due here probably in the next 5 years or so. We've talked about the windows on the facility, which I think we're gonna have to do some more research on and maybe get some recommendations from professionals to get something that's a little more energy efficient. HVAC units are all over 10 years old now, so we're nearing end of life on those kinds of things, and none of those are cheap. So I'm thinking the best purpose for this, while you're not paying down debt any earlier with this slug of money, you're saving the township in the future by starting to earn interest now on future costs.
And just a sidebar on that, this building now is 13 years old, so I mean, it's getting to the, well, almost 15 years now, so has to be some maintenance on it.
And we don't have an asset management plan for our facilities yet. It's something I would like to get to. It's probably gonna take a couple years since we're so focused on water currently.
What about our other two buildings too? There's nothing to say we can't use that money, some of it, for their buildings
That's a
too.
board prerogative, absolutely. Whether it's this facility or the other two primary facilities that the township owns, it doesn't have to be earmarked only for Township Hall. My recommendation is we earmark $500,000 for the future maintenance costs of facilities. Primary facilities, so leave it at the 3 buildings that have debt on them.
We also talked about maybe buying some more property for the fire department, or to put our storage on, or a garage or something. I mean, obviously, we don't have to decide any of that tonight, but doesn't just have to be for the building, it could be for anything.
You could earmark it for the storage building that's on, I think it's on the list over there, and it has been for some time, that we know we need eventually, especially if the water project booster station upgrades happen, because some of the space that's currently being used for seasonal equipment storage is no longer going to be available. So it tightens up all the rest of available space we have.
So we don't have to say what it's earmarked for.
No.
So probably the best thing is to not tie ourselves to earmarking it and just invest it.
Well, we just want to kind of title it or something, because
Well, it would be,
identify it,
yeah, earmarked for township improvements or
something
township.
like that.
Mhm.
generally.
Because there are unexpected things that happen every day. Yeah, shoveling that snow.
You could certainly just make a motion to invest it in CDs with a reasonable duration, whether it's 6 months or a year. Something along those lines.
Right, the treasurer might want to look at what's out there,
More broad of invested based on investment policy. So
right,
we're not tied to.
Even better.
specific terms.
yeah.
Sure.
Just probably nothing more than a year would be my guess.
Yeah, I
Just in
think keep it
case.
less than a year for that.
Yeah, whatever be available.
Well, I'll make a motion to authorize the treasurer to invest a $500,000 revenue from the 5-acre parcel sale into CDs earmarked for the township hall building maintenance cost. And the only reason I'm saying that is because the fire department building, they have their own fund. They're funded differently than us. And Public Works has their own water and sewer fund that actually takes care of their building. So it'd make more sense for this facility. It's general fund dollars that we use for this building, and they don't it doesn't have the revenue source as the other funds, so it makes more sense for me to keep it in this fund for now. But we can always change it in the future. It's
Yeah.
not, but for now, I'd like to keep it in,
So we can maybe get that ice rink roof?
I don't know about that, but,
What?
I don't know about that, but
No.
Support.
Questions, comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Treasurer, you have some work to do. You're welcome.
Okay, thanks. I'll bring some to you too then.
Kim might be able to help you with this one.
No, she's saying no.
She knows where the money's hidden.
Speaking of money, we have next up, consider award Forestville Road paving bid.
This one's been in the works for a while, and you may recall, we put it on the back burner while we waited to see what happened with Long Ear's Forestville Crossings project. That project is, let's call it dead in the water, for lack of better terms at this point. And the reason why is they requested their one-year extension. That has now expired, so if they want to do something with their property, they have to start over. We're looking at another couple years before they could really seriously get going, I'm guessing. We have not heard from them in quite some time, and I don't think we can wait much longer to repave that portion of Forestville from 492 Wright Street, as it's commonly known, down to Huron Woods. Once you get past Huron Woods, that was done as a county road commission project, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe? It was before my time here, but it is some of the newer pavement out there that they did that project when the bridge over the Dead River was replaced.
We reassured trustee Marks long ago that this would be taken care of.
I swore on my mother's grave, actually, she's not dead yet, my father's grave, that we would not lose that, and it's in the financial statements. Or, sorry, Kim, what's the technical term? I keep using the wrong. The
Balance sheet.
balance sheet. I'm not an accountant, can you tell? It's been there. In fact, we budgeted it 2 years in a row, and I think one of the years we actually reallocated when we realized the 150 was already sitting there. It's time to spend it. The road commission bid the project out. They're recommending the low bidder. I concur, and my recommendation is to award it to Baco. With the road commission's admin fee, they take care of all of that for us, and it will be done this year.
I'll make a motion that we authorize the Marquette County Road Commission to award the Forestville Road paving bid to Baco Construction of Iron Mountain, Michigan for the bid amount of $92,527.70
I'll support that.
plus a 3% Marquette County Road Commission admin fee.
And if I may, for additional discussion, there was a suggestion in my action item form that the remainder of that 150 be reallocated to Commerce Drive for when the road commission's ready to do a proper project out there. We had tried to do that with the Section 19 funds for the culvert. That was shot down. So we need to start finding ways to help come up with some sort of local match to incentivize the road commission. They're not excited about Category F funding because they're thinking that's a 2029 project at the earliest. We can't wait 3 more years. So best bet is the next year or 2, which is 2028 at the latest. It gets programmed into their budget as a joint project. We could probably talk to the DDA. There's some elements north of Venture for non-motorized that's in their project priority plan. So I think their list of project priorities, I'm sorry. This whole plan thing is a little bit tricky when it comes to the DDA, but if they have continued millage revenue to help support the non-motorized aspects, that might take some of the burden off of the township's budget. But here we have money that's already set aside for the road that connects on the opposite side of the intersection that we don't have to spend. This road is probably in much worse shape, and we should I think we should step beyond the local roads and try to get that done as soon as possible, because it's our front door.
It'll be gravel by 3 years. so.
By summer,
That
what do
would
you
be
mean?
better than what it is now.
Yeah.
So the responsibility of that road falls to the county road commission, correct?
All of the roads in the township do, unless it's the Well Road or the former quote-unquote Starbucks Road.
Okay, so so what allows the trucks to be on that road?
It's a county primary.
So do we look at getting it changed from a county
You
primary?
certainly can, but then the amount of revenue the road commission receives for it is even less, by about a third.
Right, but at this point, we're spending how much money to fix it, and it's a mess. Okay, it's a huge mess out
No
there.
matter what you do out there, taking away the county primary status of that is a significant hit on the revenue they receive for that mile of road.
So that's the only thing we can do, would be to take it away. There's nothing else we can do.
Why would you, though, if it's a decrease in revenue, just to keep the trucks on 492? That's my only question.
I guess you have to look at the pluses and minuses here. So yes, we get more money, but yes, it costs us more money, and what's the balance here? And is the road, and you can't, I don't know that you can answer this or that it's a fair question, but what's the county road commission planning to do about this? Other than fix my broken struts on my car?
That's between you and the road commission, but as far as rebuilding the road properly, they are incentivized to program it into their normal paving schedule next year or in 2028, all depending on how quickly they can get the funds together to do it properly, because it's going to take a full pavement removal and replacement.
So the incentivizing them means that township taxpayers are gonna foot some of the bill to fix the road. Is that correct? That's where the money's coming from.
That's what I'm recommending, yes.
Okay, so just so people out there know that the whole road millage fixing that they were taxed for,
Local roads.
local roads, so we're counting this as a local road?
No, it's a
No.
county primary.
It's a county primary, but we're gonna use local road funding to incentivize the
No,
project.
that's not what I'm recommending.
Okay,
We
all right.
cannot legally use the millage
that's
money
right, they
on
said
county
that.
primaries.
So.
This would be general fund money.
So it's general fund money. Oh, okay. Still the money that we're all paying into the system, correct?
Yeah, everything is all we're paying. you
I know, I know.
We're paying the legislators and the governor and the
Right,
people
just so
and
people
everybody.
are kind of clear about that, because there's a lot of talk out there about that road. A lot.
Yeah,
I
I've
have
heard
a
it
question,
too.
and maybe nobody knows, but being a county primary, is there a different way that that road should be constructed versus any other road in the township?
It is.
It is.
The problem is its age.
Yeah, so because, I don't know if you noticed, but during the melting areas, there's like a hot spot underneath that road where it's always thawed. I don't know what's running under there.
It was a swamp, that's why.
Oh, so it stayed warm from that.
It's a swamp.
Because there's something that
Yeah,
Was
the
Bear
township
Grylls
is
stays
very-
melted on the way to the fire hall.
So, interesting enough, that portion is getting fixed this year with a full reconstruct. Section 19 funds that went to the county that are being allocated to the road commission to make that repair. But we're talking 100 feet, couple hundred feet of road, not a lot. It's gonna help, including any of our struts on the
Right.
car.
Right.
Absolutely, I mean,
Truck.
I got reminded today where all the potholes were that were hiding in the snow. I had a pattern down when the snow was melted, but, there's definitely more going on over there. The reason they got that Section 19 funding is because of the rapid snow melt 2 or 3 years ago. Here we are, counting in terms of 3-year increments still. The road commission's proposal is not wait for category F. Find a way to speed it up, and if we have to be able to incentivize them, push it further, that's my recommendation. It's money that we had earmarked for another county or local road project that we don't have to spend, And it's about $50,000, right? Plus or minus. So that's up to you. You don't have to take action on it tonight. I wanted to plant that seed because we do have to have something done out here sooner than later. It's tough.
So if they're going to do the 100 or 200 feet, can this 50,000 give us a little bit more and not worry about what 2 years down the road?
It absolutely could, but I think it would serve a far greater purpose being a local match towards a complete project.
Okay.
Yeah, just so for history in that area, yeah, before that road was constructed, it was all swamp. And when they built the road through there, some historians told me they were gonna have this problem in the future, and sure enough, it's happening as we speak, because building through a swamp, you have problems usually, so.
You can see the pond right there. I mean,
It's
that's-
wet,
wet.
it's a wet area.
I come up Moran now, I don't even try to go through that, just avoid it.
So the only thing I'd suggest is, if, you know, before we approve this, and you can say no, but call.
Well, the motion on the floor right now is just to do the,
Forestville.
This is my point.
Forestville, yeah.
Is to call Longyear and just make sure that they aren't gonna come to us in the next year or two with something that's gonna require that road to be torn up. 'Cause that
I don't
is-
think we want to wait another year or two on Forestville Road either if we.
I'm not
if-
saying to wait, I'm just want, if you called them tomorrow and they said, yeah, it's, you know, our plan to bring you something in the next 2 years, and then we fix it this year, and then in 3 years we have to tear it up, I just think it would be safer to have a heads up. And they may say, we don't know what we're doing, and then we can just go ahead.
Well, chances are, if they're gonna do anything, it's just gonna be on the side anyway. They're not gonna tear up the whole road.
Well,
so.
that'd be good to know.
Cause usually when they put lines in, they're not usually going down the middle. Right, John?
Well, we were
Gotta
gonna.
go on the side, but.
What they need to run through that stretch is sanitary sewer, high-pressure force main. That is traditionally directional drilled these days. So there would be entry and exit pits every so often. It depends on the soils underneath. I would guess there's probably some questionable soils under that road too, but that road's been there quite some time, since the dam was built, so. I can certainly reach out to Longyear tomorrow and find out if they have anything coming. I just don't know how much longer I can advise you to punt on this, because we've already done it for 3 years. And when we set the money aside, it was ready then.
Yeah, there's gonna be some angry residents that come from that area, cause we punted it, like John said, for 3 years, and we had a trustee that that got a little excited at times, so.
I told them it was gonna be fixed.
I'm just saying.
Well, if it happens, it happens. We can't see the future we just plan the best we can.
And
So,
somebody will say, did anybody ask them?
and we'll say, yes, we did.
Okay.
I would say I've run out of patience as far as trying to save what's left of that portion of the road to keep the costs relatively affordable.
I'm glad this is affordable.
How soon could that be done?
Forestville Road?
This summer.
Well, it's already been bid, so it's when the contractor fits it in their schedule. It's all based on how much work they have locally,
That's
so,
possible.
correct. Yeah, the two bidders are both the two primary paving contractors in the UP.
Okay, anything else? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Consider the township website upgrades.
Yeah, so, we had me and Manager Kangas, Supervisor Durant, were on a Zoom meeting with the folks from Civic Plus, and our website at the moment has a deficiency that will need addressing in the near future with ADA accessibility. And so we met with the folks from Civic Plus, and this is the proposal that we got from them. I will It's gonna cost us, significant more money, but it is, you know, if you want a website, you gotta have ADA compliance, and, it's what it costs, so. I will, make a motion to approve the, agreement with Civic Plus with, legal. I didn't get a chance for Roger to look at it, so I'll have legal review before we finalize that, so. So I'll make the motion to approve the agreement pending legal review with Civic Plus. Cost is gonna be $14,037.20, not this year, but moving forward to next. And the ADA accessibility is called, I think is it, do you remember what that was, John? Eagle Eye or something, or?
Something like that, yeah.
It's, so you bring up the website, down in the lower corner, there's a box that.
Audio Eye.
Audio Eye. There's a box that you can click on, and it has a bunch of tools in there. If you're ADA, if you have ADA issues, it can change the font, it can change the color, it can do all sorts of things with the website, and make it easier for someone that has challenges to read it or get it. And then it's the same thing with the let me see what it is here. Docu Access. So when we put documents into the website with the PDF, that service will make the PDFs ADA accessible also. So if we didn't have that service and we had Civic Plus do it, it's $10 a page. So it's cheaper just to have that service available, because we don't know how many, stuff we're gonna put on there, and sometimes we put a lot of stuff on there, so. It's just the price of business moving forward with, website access and making sure we're legal with, the Department of Justice.
Well, the master plan was, what, 250 pages at $10 a page right
Ooh.
there. That'd be a big hit,
It would be,
just to put it on there.
One board packet.
when board packet's expensive also.
Yes. It's more from the peanut gallery.
So I'll get this agreement, if it's approved, over to Roger, and then if he's fine with it, I'll have the supervisor sign and execute it.
Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. We lost our public, unless you've got anything you want to say, ask or say. Any announcements from anybody? There's got to be some election announcements.
Oh, Roger's gotta go. The
Thanks,
only thing
Roger.
on the elections is we got our absentee ballots today, and I'm gonna try to get them out by next Monday. If you got an email, because if you put an email into your, when you registered to vote, it will you'll get an email stating that your ballot is gonna be sent to you, but it won't be sent till the 23rd, so try to get it out next Monday. It'll give everyone at least 40 days to, and it's only one question, so.
And tell them how many you have.
I got 970 I gotta send out as of right now, and I think that list is gonna grow as we continue, because that's who's on the permanent ballot list. I don't keep the absentee, list anymore, because there's no sense to keep two. So I just advise the folks, if they come in and request an absentee ballot, which they have every right to do, check the permanent ballot option, because then you'll get put on that list. Every election we get, you will get a ballot. And it doesn't break my heart if you don't want to vote, you can just throw it away or shred it. It doesn't come back, it doesn't change my numbers or anything, it's fine, so. So that's about it. We had a clerk's meeting last week. The highlights of that were we had some of the state folks here, and there's a different method now for overseas folks to get their ballot. It's called EDARP. It's different. It's basically, if you're overseas in the U.S. military, you can get your ballot emailed to you, and you can send it back through the portal. It's only for active U.S. military, so we can get their ballot in real time back. If you're not in the military, then we can send it to you electronically, but you have to mail it back, so. But this'll cure a lot of issues with ballots trying to come in after the deadline, so we should be able to get them all in by election day. And it's for every election, and this Saturday is 45 days before the election, and I have to make sure that there's no, 45 days is where I have to go into the computer and look and see if we have any request for ballots at that time, so. So I will be doing that Saturday. Usually we don't for these types of elections, but you never know.
And there's no early voting?
Yes, there's no early voting for May, because it's not a state or federal election. So just election day, we'll have hours. You can come into the clerk's office or come into the office on Saturday from 8 to 4. And that's either to get a ballot, register to vote, or bring your ballot in.
This Saturday.
No, the Saturday before the election. So
Okay.
that's going to be the end of April.
And election day is?
May
Yeah.
4th, I'm thinking. I think it's May 5th. I got to look. Yeah, it's May 5th, so let me look at my calendar here. I'll have something that Andrew will put on, probably April's calendar with that on there, so that will help folks see that. So it will be May 2nd, we'll have, Saturday, May 2nd, we'll have clerk's hours from 8 to 4 here. And then the election is May 5th, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And it's one question, one page ballot, so it shouldn't take you long to figure that one
The
out.
max question?
It's just the Marquette Area Public Schools question, yeah.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay, make sure that you guys, all of you, everybody in the township is cleaning out your mailboxes and making sure that your address is obvious to everybody. Because more than likely, it's on the end of a brick post with a light and it's covered with snow. And if the fire department or MGH or somebody needs to get to you, they need to find you. So please clean out your mailboxes, put up your address somehow, put a spotlight on it, whatever. We don't want anybody to get missed. That would be horrific. What else? No other announcements? Okay, manager's report?
Storm cleanup, as you know, we were in good enough shape to reopen today. Township Hall, we were still about half staff for various reasons, but I would imagine by the end of the week we'll be back to full staff. I think the biggest concern that I heard in the County Emergency Operations Center update yesterday afternoon is how much moisture is in our snowpack. It's the equivalent of 12 to 18 inches of water. If that melts rapidly, we've seen what happens because it's happened before. It's going to be, we'll be pursuing additional emergency funds for more repairs, and let's hope that it all melts at a slow, controlled rate so all of the drainage systems and infrastructure can keep up. But be aware, if it does melt fast, we're likely going to have some issues to deal with, and the funding probably, we won't get a lot of this done for a couple of years if we have damage. So maybe temporary fixes, but that's about it. Would you like me to provide you a little bit of staff's feelings on the Superior Oasis request? Okay. First, the ordinance does not authorize Lenny or me to grant waivers to bills on of any amount. So it is up to you. Even if we wanted to, we can't. But in this case, I don't recommend it, albeit I think we all have sympathy for the situation they were in. We certainly did not cause the weather. We did not cause the power outage. We did not authorize the additional use. We purchased the water. We sold the water. I don't believe it's good practice to make the rest of the water and sewer customers pay for that additional use to protect their private property. I just don't think it's a good idea. Regardless of the circumstances that led to them doing what they could to protect their property, I don't believe it's the township's responsibility, much less the enterprise funds, the water and wastewater funds, to cover that added expense of water actually being used and run back down the drain. If it was a situation where it was being spilled out onto the ground, we would consider waiving the wastewater fees, but this was also still going down the drain and it was going to the wastewater plant. So water's being treated at the water treatment plant, sold to the township, sent to the customer uses it, goes back down the drain, back to the wastewater plant. We're paying for every one of those gallons coming from and going to. If they didn't pay for the water that they used in their buildings, the rest of the customers would be subsidizing their use. So I don't think this is a very clear situation where I don't think it's advisable unless we told them to do it, which did not happen. And you think about it, a resident hears that you decided to waive $6,000 in additional water and wastewater charges for a relatively short period of time, yes, when it wasn't previously authorized or directed by the township. I'm gonna go on vacation for a month and I'm worried about my pipes freezing. I'm just gonna run the water and the township's gonna have to waive the fees. I just think it's not a good precedent to set.
I concur.
Has it been done before?
I know.
Not in my time here.
Okay.
The only time in my history here that we've ever let, and it's not businesses per se, but residents, is when we had the big freeze-ups, probably 10 years ago. We had some problem issues in the township, and we were more preserving our infrastructure than by not having lines freeze.
Let run.
Yeah, so that's the only time in my time here I've known we've done it. We don't have a huge problem here in the township, luckily, because our infrastructure is very newer compared to others and we buried it deep enough. But there are some places in the township that when the frost gets deep enough, Lenny will tell their homeowner that you might need to run your water a little bit so we don't have freeze-ups.
In those situations, we give them the authorization in writing and we average their bill for that time period. So
Yeah.
whatever they use historically in that same window, that's what we bill them for that year, not based on how much water they actually have to use. And it's to protect the township system, not their private plumbing.
Yeah, and the amount of water you're talking about is very small compared to a business running. All
It's
the-
usually a trickle from one
Yeah,
fixture.
it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be much at all.
The flow, the diameter of a pencil is what we got to in the winter of 2013-14. And then again, a little bit, maybe not as bad the following year. That was the last polar vortex year we've experienced locally.
And I know a resident that left out of town this year and he had someone watching his house and he said, run the water on a pencil lead. And they ran it a little bit harder than that. But when he came back, he had a big water bill, but he paid it, he understood. He said, it's better than a freeze up. And I'm thinking, like for Frank's situation, I think it's just a cost of business because he was protecting his infrastructure and sometimes you have to do that, unfortunately. Well, Lynn, you had a hotel, you know how it goes. It's a lot cheaper I hate to say it, for $6,000 rather than have all your pipes break in the hotel and you gotta replumb the place. And unfortunately, it's the cost of business.
Or the cost of installing 4 standby generators and maintaining them over the years.
Correct. So, I mean, I feel for them, but at the same token, I don't see this as a township problem. If we caused it, then I'd be more than happy to try to make it right,
Or
but.
if he suggested it, because he didn't even call ahead of time and say, I would like to do this, what do you think, right?
He called and talked to me and said, this is what we are doing.
Oh.
And I said, it sounds like
Not
you're
like
doing
permission.
everything you can to protect your property. That was not me saying I'm authorizing it. It was me saying, you're doing what you can.
No, and even he mentioned tonight he wasn't authorized to run it, so he knows that, and, I mean, all you can do is ask. I mean, the worst we're gonna say is no, and, but I agree with the manager, if you waive this, it's gonna set a very bad precedent moving forward, which I don't think we wanna go down that road.
Do you?
All sympathy and empathy aside, of course.
Do you need a motion or something, or just want?
No action, I think, would be adequate.
Okay. Questions or comments?
It just seems like a lot for that short of a period of time.
2
How many
days.
faucets did he have
You
open?
wouldn't start running it right away, you wouldn't start running it till the temperature got scary, and it was only off 68 hours. So it just seems like a tremendous amount of water.
They started by running water in the end units, so at the end of each line. And then as the temp started dropping in the buildings, what he told me when he called me, they were worried that the temps were gonna fall below freezing, so they were starting to run it in every fixture. And was it overboard? I wasn't there, I don't know. Yeah, it was a lot of water for sure, and they did what they had to do.
Is there anything else that you picked up from the road commission meeting that,
Yeah, don't expect them to have any extra new money this year from the road package, the Fix the Darn Roads package that was approved last year. They actually took a hit before they even get to see any new money because old funding was taken away first. So they go backwards before they get to see any gain. It's about $110,000 net gain by the end of the year, the
Yeah.
fiscal year, which is end of September. What does it cost us to do a wedge and overlay on, what is that, a half mile of Forestville Road? That's 2 narrow lanes, almost $100,000. That's what it gets them, this new road package this first year.
out of billions? It was
Out of
ridiculous.
2.2 billion, it's mind-boggling when you see the numbers, when it gets down to the local level, how little is left.
The accountant did an awesome job of detailing it. She had videos and pictures, or not video, but presentation, and this comes off, this comes off, this comes off, this goes to boats, this goes to this goes to snowmobiles, this goes, and we have 113,000 left in Marquette Township, or in the county. It was just, what a joke.
For the first year of this new $2.2 billion package.
And it's 3 years or 5 years?
5 years,
Was it
and
5?
at the end of 5 years, the money that's in the package that's allocated to bridges will then be available for roads at the end of 5 years. And one of the pots of money is additional tax on marijuana, which is being fought in court, so there probably will be no new revenue from that until that's settled, so. That's half of the 2.2. So 1.1 billion with a B. And one industry is gonna fund 1.1 billion in new tax revenue. That's pretty impressive.
If they're all still in business after that. Any questions for the manager? Okay. Motions, Mr. Clerk, please.
Okay, consent agenda was approved. The regular agenda was approved with no additions. Third motion was to approve the emergency expenditure of not to exceed $30,000 for the fire department ladder truck, and that was approved. Fourth motion was to approve the renewal of the library contract through 28 and put the millage question on the November ballot. Fifth motion was to approve the distribution of the draft master plan, and that was approved by roll call vote. The sixth motion was approved to the 2% funding request from the United Way to the Sault Ste. Marie Chippewa Indians, and that was approved for the supervisor to send that letter. Seventh motion was to approve the 2025 purchase of a Chevy Tahoe with the police package, and that was approved. The eighth motion was to consider the building fund investment, and that was approved, so we'll invest the $500,000 from the sale of the property and for the treasurer to decide where he wants to put it, I guess, per investment policy. Ninth motion was to approve the Forestville Road paving bid, and that was approved. And the 10th motion was to approve the township website upgrades with ADA accessibility pending legal review, and that was approved.
Okay. So we are scheduled to have the new director of NTN do her presentation the 1st of April for our next meeting. And Partridge Creek texted me tonight and asked if he could make composting side, make a presentation. He was thinking it was next week, so we'll have to work that out. We might get some composting information from him in the next meeting or two. Anything else? Any board member comments to share?
I just have one question. I know we talked about moving the library, Peter White Library return box in front of the mall. Is that still in front of the mall?
It is.
It's still there, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we aren't going to be able to move that over here until the majority of the snow is melted to find a good spot for it that's convenient for people using it, that's out of our way. We don't want, we don't want to give our maintenance crew a bunch of objects to work around all winter long. That's the challenge. Well, and then summer too. They've got to cut the grass. So I would like to make sure that we pick a good spot that minimizes impact to operations.
Okay, so the plan is to move it though? Or we're not sure?
I think staff's working on it, right? Or considering it or chewing on it.
So it's in review?
I totally missed my opportunity to ask Andrea if they'd pay for a concrete slab, but the cost of that is relatively minor, especially if we do it in-house. We just don't have a mixer, so we might have to rent a portable mixer, but
Well, maybe they'd go halvesies with us.
Yeah.
we'll see.
But-
I mean, township residents will ultimately benefit if it's here and they come here all on a monthly basis anyway. Is it more convenient? It depends where you live, right?
So that was my only question.
And the only comment I have is the absentee drop box, I've taken the lock off there and it is now open. So if anyone has any election materials, put it in that box. Do not put it in where the old place was where the bills and such go. So, and me and Michelle looked at the box today. It doesn't go in like this. You got to push it up and then it goes down. So it's more of a safety feature or a security feature. So yeah, so when you open the slot, you got to push it up and then it'll slide down. So
Just don't put any filled out ballots in there until Randy's mailed out the ballots.
well,
Otherwise, we got a problem.
yeah, and we do have video coverage on two ways looking at the thing, so it'll be good.
What else? Anything? Dan,
Yeah, I got one final motion.
okay.
That, we adjourn.
Gee, there's an idea.
Yeah.
7:25.